What's up, awesome people? This is Yash and welcome to this new fresh video. I am super duper triple excited to go over this topic because I've gotten like a bunch of emails, a bunch of comments, a bunch of stuff going on. People have been asking me like, hey, Yash, you've been doing this for a little bit. I would like to know if I'm buying a Shopify store or if I'm selling an e-commerce store, what are the few things that I should be looking at? And hey, I got you. So let's roll the intro and jump right into it. So roll the intro. Okay guys, so I'm going to make it pretty simple. First of all, when you're looking forward to selling your store, it is not a decision you make at the end or at the point when you're really about to sell it. You have to start thinking about the process like months in advance because there are a lot of things you need to have in place. You need to have your store perfectly polished. You need to have all your books maintained, your profit and loss statement, your balance sheet, what's going on, how much are you spending, how much are you not spending, how much are you tracking, how much money did you spend on these ads, those ads, and all of these things, because your seller could need all of this information or might not need any of this because your product is amazing or your service is amazing or something that you're selling is completely different and distinct. So you always have to remember that you have to come up with the best product. You have to come up with the best reports, everything classified, everything put together so it is a great presentation. And if I could show you that I have all the information perfectly put together and this is what I'm trying to sell, it would actually resonate with you better and my store would come across much nicer. So in order to sell a store, first step is you need to understand that you have to start working on the process of selling like 7-8 months before you even decide to sell, decide to even list your store. Second, where do you list your store? How do I want to sell my store? So with my personal self, I would say exchange.shopify.com, Exchange Marketplace by Shopify. If you just Google it or go to the first link in the description, no affiliation here, but has been a great platform. I personally think if you are a Shopify store, it's perfect. You just download their app, list your store, put in the price, they will tell you, they will handle all the stuff for you. It's very seamless, really nice. There are a few glitches here and there, but they don't really impact the way the sale goes through. So you should be fine. And it's a great way of selling the store. So it's again, exchange.shopify marketplace, something. And there's a link in the description. If you go there, you're going to find a bunch of stores that you could buy, a bunch of stores you could sell. So it's pretty cool. So that's number 2. Number 3, the third question that I get asked and the third point I want to go over is how do I actually tell my buyer that my store is good compared to all the other stores, right? So it's pretty simple. It's the numbers game. If your numbers gonna look good, your store is gonna come across very attractive, right? So say if you're doing $1 million in sales, your store is gonna look much nicer than a store that's only doing $120,000 in sales. So that all matters. The other things that matter are a few things that you should ask yourself. And that would be the best way I could actually put it in place. So say if I was buying my own store, I'd be like, okay, so how much more work is it gonna take from the time I buy this store to the time I make it into something else? So you have to understand that. And I also wanna make sure that you understand that there are a lot of other things that go into it. It's not a simple recipe. Most people who are buying a store are buying it for the money. They do not wanna put in the hard work. They are not really ready to go ahead and actually take and go through the grind, because if they were ready for that, they would just go to Shopify and build a store for $29 a month. So there's gonna be a bad plug right over here. If you're actually starting off an e-commerce store and you don't really know what to do, give it a try yourself. Go to shopify.com. The link is in the description. This second link in the description is my affiliate link. If you go through that, you get 14 days of free trial that you can even extend later, and you could test it out. See what's going on, and I think that will be a great place to start off. If you're thinking of buying a store or anything, first go ahead and try to create your own. Shopify is a great platform. I have done that with multiple stores of mine, and they've done great. So use that link, and it'll get you a 14-day free trial, and you could do it yourself. That being said, now what happens with the mindset of people? They want to not really go ahead and actually build the wheel themselves. They want to buy it from you, so they could just have things going on. So first of all, in order to be very clear, you have to tell them the things, the services, the matters of things that you do. But if you're gonna tell them you do 90 hours of work in a week, it's gonna be too much, and they're really not ready to buy that in for like $100,000, $200,000, whatever amount you're selling the store for. So you also have to understand, in order to sell it, make a plan into how they could employ other people to do the things that you've been doing yourself to cut costs. So you'd be like, look, I'm making $24,000 in salaries and $100,000 in profit a year. It's $124,000. If I was to make just $20,000 less, I could hire one other person who would do all of these from Philippines, or we could outsource it to someone in India or some other place, or you could just hire one of your cousins for $30,000 a year and they could do all of it for you, and you and two of you together could do something. Give them something to resonate, give them something to actually evaluate and see. So that's point number 3. Point number 4, one of the most important points, get missed all the time. Put everything that you are selling on your store's listing. So what products you're selling, what suppliers, what relationships you have with your suppliers, what are your domain names, what is your following. Okay, my following on Facebook is this much, my Instagram following is this much. Mention all the positives. It's a very, very must have. I know it's like a no-brainer. Obviously, if I'm selling, I want to mention all my positives, but remember, you want to mention your domain names, all the domain names that you want to actually include in the listing. Also mention if you're okay with a non-compete. If you're going to sign a non-compete and you don't mind signing one, put that, because that's a good thing. Number 3, put there that you want to provide them support if they need it. I know this is a little tricky one. A lot of times a buyer would think, hey, this person just said they're going to give me support and I'm going to have 100% all the time support. Anything I need, I can just pick up my phone, call them, and they'll do it for me. It's not always going to work out like that. You have to state it to the buyer. I find myself guilty a lot of times that don't end up being able to tell it to my customer or my client or whoever I'm talking to about the limits to which this contract really goes. Because if you're going to call up on my phone and be like, hey, do this for me right now, I might not be able to, but that doesn't mean I don't want to do it for you. It's just like, I have stuff going on and I just sold a store. If I want to actually put in 80, 90 hours of work myself, I would rather stick to the store and do it for myself. So sometimes buyers don't understand that, and you do want to mention that, like, hey, I'll be there all the time. It's like simple. Think about this. If you call in T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon and they have 24/7 support, I call them like, hey, my phone's not working. And they'll be like, hey, try to reset the phone or try to plug the charger again. Maybe your battery's dead. They don't say, oh, what's your address? Okay, I'm going to take my first train, first plane, first Uber to you and plug in your charger. That's not how it works. You could give them quick references, quick stuff, and that's what it is. That's what support is. Make sure they know it. Because if they're not going to know it, you're going to get into a bunch of other crazy stuff. And it's very important. Make sure everything's on paper so you are safe. Make sure everything's on paper so your seller and your buyer, both of you guys are safe. So that's one of the most important points. There's going to be another video. I'm going to record it right after this. If you have done watching this and you like this, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That just showed up right there. That's my face. Click on it. It subscribes to my channel and other videos which are also down there. Go ahead and watch them. There's going to be a second part of this video that I'm going to upload tomorrow, and probably in the same shirt and everything, because I'm going to record it right now. And it is about what to look for a few things if you are buying an e-commerce store from Exchange Marketplace. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Peace. Bye.